Let's talk about managing heat for MS so that you can sleep your best. I'm going to share 5 methods, but before I do, let's look at the concept that managing heat for MS is an inside job. Now, what do I mean by that? Well, I'm talking about this place up here, the penthouse suite, the head, keeping that cool, and the first floor, your feet, keeping them cool. Before I go on further, I'm DeTracey. I'm the founder of Women Thriving with MS, and I help women and guide them to go from surviving with MS to striving with MS to thriving with MS. And I do that through this YouTube channel. You can hit that subscribe button and the bell to be notified of other videos. Also through one-on-one coaching, group coaching, online courses, free Facebook group, and so much more. So let's talk about the brain. When I was in the process of researching for this video, one of the things that I was sure that I had to find something on is about brain inflammation around heat. And I found it, and I want to share it with you. Now I'm going to read this, and this information is really for the general public. It's not just people that live with MS. So imagine if you're living with MS and you're dealing with heat and brain inflammation, how that may ramp up for you a lot more. And that's why this video is so important, because I'm going to be sharing those 5 techniques plus a whole pile of bonuses. So stick around till the end so you get all of the information. So this information, I'm going to read it here, is from a guy that's a neuroscientist, Lav Barasheshny, at high temperatures. Now, I don't know how high he means. The blood-brain barrier, so that's in the brain, of course, breaks down so that unwanted proteins and ions are built up in the brain, causing inflammation and messing up normal functioning. Very, very interesting. So inflammation is something that all people experience when heat happens at a certain level. And we want to get the inflammation down in the brain because as MSers, we already live with inflammation. So let's talk about how to do that. I'll get to that in a moment. We want to also talk about feet. So when you think about it, if you're sitting for long periods of time, it's very common to have swollen feet, especially if you're not moving around and getting that blood circulation happening. And I have a video on how to get the blood circulating. You can click on that afterwards. With the feet, what you want to do is you want to get that blood circulating, and you want to cool down your feet so that you're not dealing with this swelling to the extent that you might do during times of heat. One thing I want to say is that even if you have heat intolerance as a person that lives with MS, you might also have cold intolerance. That's not the case for me, but if you do, when I go through these 5 methods with you, try them out and see what might work for you and what might not. We know that with heat and cold, there can be temporary MS symptoms cropping up, and I certainly don't want you to go through that. And the 5 methods I'm sharing with you today are methods that I personally use. So they're I'm not an expert scientist or doctor. I'm a woman that lives with MS. I've been living with MS for over 11 years. I'm talking about things from my own personal experience. So that's the key. The other piece is you may already have air conditioning in your home. You might be having it on all day and night, and you know that that's going to be expensive, or you may be a person that can't afford air conditioning to be on all the time, or don't even have an air conditioner, depending on where you live and what your finances are. So the 5 methods that I'm going to share with you are going to be very helpful because they don't involve an air conditioner, although I must admit that it is nice to have one. I do have one in my home. It blows down the hallway from the kitchen to the living room. However, the rooms off of the hallway, the bedroom and the office, do not necessarily get the same amount of cold air. So for me, as someone who heats up very quickly, I really had to strategize what are the techniques that I could use that would help me most, and now I'm sharing them with you. Here are the 5 methods, and stick around because I'm going to be sharing those bonuses with you afterwards. So you want to get the whole thing. Method number 1, and you're gonna think this is strange. I'm telling you right now, sunset walks. Why would I recommend sunset walks? Well, if you've been inside all day because you're hot, then you haven't gotten any fresh air and you haven't gotten your body moving outside. When the sun goes down and it's cooler, it's so much nicer to go for a walk and get that blood circulation happening in the body that's so important. Whether it's 5 minutes, 10 minutes, 15 minutes, or half an hour. I like to do it after dinner. You don't want to do it too late, but you do want to do it when things cool down. So that's number 1. Also, exercise improves your mood. So there are so many benefits to method number 1. Sunset walks. Method number 2, cool down your head and your feet. How are you going to do that? You're going to do it with cold water. Now, hopefully, even in the summertime when it gets hot, you have cold water coming out of your taps. This can be a problem for me at a certain point, and I have to look at other options like water and ice to cool down my body parts. I like to either just sit on the edge of the tub. I don't know what your situation is with your home and how it's set up and your mobility, so you know what's going to work best for you, not me. And in my situation, I'll sit on the edge of the tub and I will put my feet under the tap 1 foot at a time and cool down my feet, any swelling that's there, especially that has built up over the day, and my knees. I like to do my knees too. You know, when you get cold water on the knees, you can feel it. It's easy if you can do this to just hop in the shower and get your head wet under cold water and then do your feet and your body, everything. If you can handle that, if you can handle it, if you don't have cold intolerance. The other thing you can look at is putting your head under the tap. So there's many methods, but basically it's about cooling your head and your feet. Penthouse, first floor. Method number 3 is ice packs. I love ice packs. Now you probably have ice packs in your house. This one is a soft one. You know, this is the kind that you can use to put on different parts of your body. You need to use a dish towel or a tea towel and wrap it in it to protect yourself so that you don't get little frostburn on your precious skin. What I like to do is I like to put this on top of my pillow and let it sit there for 5 minutes so that my pillow's nice and cold before I go to sleep. Then I move it to the sheets where my body is and I put it there for 5 minutes. And then when I come to bed, I like to crawl in and put it around my neck to cool down that area of the body to prepare me to be cool when I go to sleep. Having an ice pack is a cost-effective way to cool down and make your sleeping environment more comfortable. So that's method number 3. Method number 4 is making sure that you don't have a lot of covers on. I recommend either a sheet, having a sheet, or having a light comforter. Take the duvet out. And the reason for that is that when you sleep with just a layer on top of you, you still feel like you psychologically have something on top of you. I prefer to have a layer on top of me than no covers, even though I get hot. It's more comforting. You can always add extra layers later. The key is, though, if you go into bed with all these layers on and then you get hot after you've done all these techniques, it defeats the purpose. The key that we're looking at is being able to fall asleep. So all of these methods that I'm sharing with you are there to help you fall asleep. Once you fall asleep, then if you wake up in the night, you can always come back to putting the ice pack behind your neck to cool you down again. So you have that as an option. So number 4 is a very thin, light cover. And number 5 is using fans. You may already use fans, so let me just share with you the techniques that I use that have worked for me. If you have a ceiling fan, fantastic. That can be great. Sometimes when I have vertigo, I do not like to have that ceiling fan on. I don't know if you can relate to that, but most of the time I'll have it on. I just won't have it on a high speed because I find that that can irritate the vertigo for me. So having that air pushing down can make a big difference. And then I like to have a little fan that I put on my nightstand or prop up somewhere that's blowing closer to my face. I don't like cool air blowing directly against my face. It disrupts my sleep, so you have to find that comfort level for you. However, I don't mind it shooting kind of down my neck or closer to my body. So you're having air from a ceiling fan and air from a smaller fan blowing on you. Now, if you don't have two fans, at least get a little fan that you can have near you to blow close by, because that can make a big difference. So that's all 5 that I've shared with you today. So let's jump into the bonuses now. The first tip is around dehumidification. If you live in a humid environment, that's really what's impacting you, possibly more than the heat. I like to put on the dehumidifier in the house a couple hours before going to sleep to suck out that moisture. I really believe that can make a big difference. If it's really humid, it's great to have the dehumidifier on at night. I leave my bedroom door open, and so that I can pull out that humidity. You may live in a dry climate and that may not be relevant to you. I live in Montreal, Canada. It's extremely humid in the summertime, and that can be pretty tough for me. Also, you want to keep your temperature while you're sleeping between 17 and 20 degrees Celsius. That works out to 63, I think, to about 65 Fahrenheit. Another bonus tip to do that is to make sure that your blinds are closed so that no sunlight can get in during the day. Now, if it's really cool in the morning and you want to have fresh air in your house, you can open up the bedroom window till the temperature gets to about that 17 degrees or 18 degrees, 63 degrees Fahrenheit, and then close it up. Close it up so that you can keep that coolness in. Close the bedroom door so that you keep that happening, unless you're having air conditioning go throughout your entire house or you have an AC in your bedroom. Wrapping up here today, I'm Jen DeTracey, the founder of Women Thriving with MS. Thank you so much for watching this video and watching it all the way through. I just want to high five you. And if you're interested in the newsletter, again, you can go to the description and look, and there will be a link for you to sign up for the newsletter so you can get weekly blog information about all things MS.